All right, hey, it is noisy. Well, I'm hoping that I don't have a lot of feedback in this. Listen, I've got a little video I'm going to put on, and then after that plays, I'll be back and talk to you a little bit more. So let me get this started here, and I will talk to you after the end of the video. Please don't go anywhere. Oh, and give me a thumbs up. Give me a bell, subscribe, comment, let me know what's going on out there. It's my birthday, almost. So here we go.
Well, I tell you, it is a nice day here in central Louisiana. Working on a little video clip. I take an interest in some things, and General Miley seems to be in the news quite a bit, and so I said, well, why not? Well, I am back again. It's only been a few minutes since I did my Afghan video. I want to talk about General Mark Miley and what it is that he is reported to have done. I do not know. Maybe he'll come out on CNN or MSNBC or someplace like that and say, yes, I did it, or no, I didn't do it, or whatever. But anyway, it is reported that he got on the phone, hello, to a counterpart in the Chinese military to say, okay, in effect, not to worry, we're not going to go to war with you or anything else. Okay? If he did that, if in fact he did, I don't care what motivation he had, he stepped over the line. Not his job. Not his job to do it. In fact, if he did do that, here's what he could have created. Confusion. Confusion. When mistakes are made, it's usually from what? Confusion. You're not sure. Okay? For you truck drivers, you're driving down the road, okay? And you're pretty sure you know where to turn, you know, but you're not absolutely sure. You've got some confusion over it, right? So you get off the interstate, you go up to that stop sign there, and it goes left or it goes right. You have confusion. You make the wrong turn because you're confused. Maybe you didn't write it down. Maybe your GPS is giving you the wrong directions to turn, right? Confusion. You make mistakes. Miley, talking to his Chinese counterpart, could, God almighty, he's not a mind reader. He's not going to know for sure what that Chinese general or whoever it is on the other end of that phone is thinking. Miley could have created confusion at that end. They could be saying to themselves, well, why would Miley do this? Is he in on something? We had better go to stage 5 alert just in case. All right? Confusion. Miley had absolutely no need to call his counterpart if he did it. He ran a very real risk of creating confusion on the other end of that phone. Dangerous. Miley did something perhaps very, very dangerous. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why it would not benefit former President Trump at all. And creating a war. Now, first of all, before I get to that point, let me tell you the truth here, all right? Let me tell you the truth. You see this face, honest. I'll tell you the honest truth, all right? The honest truth is no president by himself or herself are going to start a war. Ain't going to happen. Not going to happen. There's so many things that you have to do to get to that point. So many people that have to be brought in. The vice president has to be brought in. Okay? Senior members of his cabinet have to be brought in. They all have to be brought in. Nobody sitting in the Oval Office can just arbitrarily start a war. Remember how they wanted Vice President Pence to take over as the president under special circumstances. All right? If former President Trump would have tried to do that, first of all, you don't get on the phone and call everybody that's got nuclear weapons at their command and say, fire one off. You don't do that. And he doesn't walk around with the briefcase to do that with. Right. Remember seeing the guy who sort of follows along with the president, it's got the little briefcase and stuff like that. There's steps that have to be taken. People have to be informed. He is not, never was, capable of starting a war on his own. Just, it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. Because so many people have to be involved. Now, I'm going to tell you something. During my military career, twice on two different ships, two different commands, I was given the responsibility to be what you would call a key holder. Okay? Now, a key holder could be a person who has a physical key, has a combination to a safe, or whatever. Okay? It's just a term, key holder. And we would have drills that we would go through. where we would receive a message that would come in to us. And sometimes I was on watch, on duty, when the message would come in. Sometimes I might be down having my evening meal on the mess decks, or maybe in the lounge watching a movie. But anyway, whenever one of these came in, myself and others, we all had to meet up at a designated place. And each of us had to do our part. No one could do it all by themselves. Wouldn't happen. All right? You had to actually authenticate everything to make sure that it was a legitimate, real launch. It was not something that could just be done. And who has the keys to these things? Well, one person doesn't just walk around with a briefcase, because then he'd have it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for 4 years or 8 years or whatever, right? So different people all take part in this. There is consultation that goes on. All right? There is consultation that goes on. You have to authenticate. If the president said, I want to do a strike on wherever, okay? I absolutely guarantee you, look at this face. Look at it. Couldn't do it on his own. Could not possibly do that on his own. There's other people that's going to be involved with it. Now, the responsibility to do it, yes, he's the man that says yes or no. The vice president cannot do it. Joint Chiefs of Staff cannot do it. Okay? Not on their own. They can't give the authority to do it, but they're going to be part of that decision-making process, and the burden will be on the president to say yes or no. If he calls somebody in and says, give me the launch codes, he's not going to just dial in some number, and it's going to happen. People have to be notified all the way down the chain of command to the commanding officer, in my case, the captain of the ship. Okay? Everybody gets informed. There's many steps that goes on. So Miley should know that. So if indeed he called this Chinese general, or whatever his rank was, to say those kinds of things, then he was well over his authority. He created confusion, and it could have been disastrous. Okay? I want you to think about this. If you're looking at this video, think about this. Do you think that general on the other end of that phone, when and if Miley hung up, that Chinese general said to himself, that was a very interesting call. And then he went off and did whatever it is that he does, okay? Or do you think he notified someone else and they had a discussion about it? Sure they did, because that's prudent. That general, he's not going to say, good God, President Xi, you better launch a strike. No, because it's not going to happen that way either there. All right? There's safeguards that are built into all of this. All right? So, if you're wondering, could former President Trump have, just on his own, done this? No, he could not. Now that is the truth. No matter what you hear on TV, the man could not have done it on his own. Too many steps. It takes some time to do it. It took time for me to be notified. Okay? It took time for me to be notified that, hey, I need you down here. And then I have to wait for everybody else to get down there. And then there's a procedure that you go through. Okay? And we're all around this. I do my part, they do their part. And they check to see if it's a valid launch. Okay? Authentication. Let me tell you, just not going to happen. If you hear somebody saying that Trump could have done it, you just give them the old finger there and say, no, he couldn't, because I told you he couldn't. All right, that's it. Listen, if you're a truck driver, be safe out on the highway, make lots of money, get home to your family, get home to your friends, spend some of that money, because I'm telling you, Biden is going to take it for taxes if you don't. You better spend it before he takes it. And if you're not a truck driver and you run across this channel, hit the like button, subscribe to it. It's not going to break your arm, all right? You don't have to even look at it. Just dump, and it makes me feel good. I have a birthday coming up in November. What a nice birthday surprise if I can get a few more subscribers in. All right? Do that. Okay, guys, we're out of here. Ciao.
It's in the month of May when the lambs skip and play and the little birds are singing all along. Yes, there I met a maid and it's to her I said, let's wind up for a little ball of yarn. Yes, no concern, you're a stranger to me. Perhaps you have some other charm. I'd better go with those who have money and fine clothes and wind up my little ball of yarn.
All right, well, that was my little video clip. I'm going to do another one tomorrow. It's going to be on Afghanistan. But to finish this one off, I want to talk a little bit about General Milley, the man that seems to step into it, right? There's an old thing in the military. You get promoted to the level where you're incompetent, all right? And I think this is what we have here with General Milley. Should not be in that position there. He doesn't seem to have the tools to carry out the job. A lot of that stuff is political anyway. They get into those positions that pay back a favor or something like that. But anyway, I want to bring up this other little item here. You remember we had those 13 servicemen and women who were killed during the evacuation out of Afghanistan. It was the next day. General Milley went on TV and said it was a righteous kill when that drone came in and blew up the car. Okay? Now here we are, some days later, learning that most likely those were civilians that were killed. About 10, 7 of them children, as I understand. I wonder how General Miley feels now. Was that a righteous kill? Think about it. Excuse me. Think about that. We are part of the oversight of our government. It's up to us to keep them in line. You and me, our neighbors, we need to stay on top of these people. Okay, that's it. Get home safe to your family and friends, you know. Make lots of money, and I'm coughing myself to death. We will catch you again tomorrow. Stay tuned. I'm going to do another one. It's going to be on the Afghan refugees. All right, folks, let me get over here and turn this thing off.